Okay guys, this is Ellie from Oh No Nails. Have you ever done a fantastic set, especially on a client? You've done the Instagram pictures, you put them out, the likes coming in, you're like, oh, check out my work. A few minutes later, you'll get a text with a picture of that nail, and then with like a big green or red circle on it. Look what happened to my nail, I don't know what happens. But you know what happens, it's uncured gel. How can you avoid it? Okay, watch it. Okay, lovelies, let's troubleshoot gel polish. So what I've got here, I have got two of these plastic tip things. I get them in boxes from either eBay or Amazon. I quite like them. And what I typically do is I'll work on, instead of practice fingers, I often use these because you can actually see what you're doing with them being transparent. It's easier to see gel and base and whatever. So I quite like working on these. So I would definitely recommend you get yourself a box. They're relatively inexpensive. And you can buy yourself one of these stands. These are magnetic. And what I do is I just stick them on with like sticky tabs for press-ons. Also inexpensive, and you just discard it when you're done. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend this is a natural nail. And what I typically like to do is, the reason I do that is because that it gives me the feeling, so it makes me more careful. Instead of me just sort of going everywhere with it, I like to sort of pretend that it is a natural nail I'm working on. So right, if this was natural nail, you'd typically be pushing back the cuticles. You would clean all dirt and debris out. And like I said in one of my prep videos, it's a good idea to sort of clean the underneath, because otherwise you can get dirt and debris that can cause problems and like lifting on the free edge. So just be aware of that. And I would do the same on this one. Right, let's just give those cuticles a little push back. And this is just sort of a quick demonstration. If you want to look more carefully, and go to one of my previous videos about prep. Okay, so that's clean. As I said, just get any dirt and debris out from under the client's nails. And we are ready to go. Right, then when that's done, I'm just gonna buff the nail gently. You need to do this on plastic, otherwise nothing is going to stick on it. And also on the natural nail, you just need to remove the shine really carefully. I mean, you're not supposed to damage the natural nail, just be super careful, but make sure you get all the dust and debris out of that. And again, if this was a natural nail, I would use one of these brushes. I've got a little pump with some alcohol. Go up and down so you get rid of any of the dust and dirt, and then I'd go just sort of underneath the free edge. And that doesn't matter however short they are. You don't go digging underneath, but it's a good idea just to do it. The reason I go up and down is so that I don't push any of the dust or residue into the side walls. Okay, right, so those nails are ready for primer or dehydrator, excuse me, whatever you use in your system. I am going to prime them just real quick. Oops, put them on the stand, that one, when I'm not using it. And again with primer, so that I don't flood anything, I usually just start on the free edge. You don't need masses, you don't need to wash it in primer. Be really careful, and especially if the customer's got like any nicks or anything in the skin, because otherwise it might hurt a bit. That's especially if you're using acid primer. This is acid free. Okay, that nail's ready. Let's take the other one out. And like I said, I mean, you need to have enough primer, but don't wash the nail with it, that's not necessary. And this is the good thing, you can sort of see where we're working on a matte surface, the same as what a nail would be. You will see where you've applied it, because it's not going to be matte anymore, it's going to be like shiny. And this particular primer from Crystal Nails, what that does, it sort of like almost tacks up a little bit and it goes a bit sticky, like a double-sided tape. So you get a good adhesion. Actually, I mean, just to sort of say something about this primer. Let's see, it's not that easy to see. I might have to do something with the focus in a minute. It looks like this. I've used it a lot. The bottle's fairly empty, so that's why I keep it, just for demonstrations or practice or whatever. Okay, so now we are going to apply base coat. We'll use the Urban Graffiti UV LED Gel Polish Base Coat with a cure time of, this is the old one, so it's got 60-second cure time or 2 minutes in a UV lamp. I've got an LED. Again, what I'm going to do is, the brush has been in the bottle all the time, so it's almost a little bit soaked. Just going to pull that off gently and just leave like a little blob of gel base on one side, and that's the side that I'm going to be working with. And I will start at the bottom and sort of work my way up. I mean, you don't need such a big amount that it's going to just go everywhere, but you do need enough. I'm just going to sort of work that out. Same over there. And if you're noticing, like I've said, that I'm treating this like a natural nail, I'm keeping the cuticle matte, and that gives me an idea of how to work on a nail that size. Right, let's put that there. Same again. Again, this is one of my practice bottles, that's why it's half full and the old type. The other one is 30-second cure, the new one. So we're going to start the free edge and just move, work our way up. And with gel base and the colour, you need to make sure that you sort of cap the edges. So as I said, just go there again, down on the sides. And when you cap the edges, you just sort of come down under here. If I was doing a natural or an overlay on the natural nail, if the nails were sort of had a lot of ridges or were very uneven, what I would do is you can put on 2 layers of base coat, but again, don't go mad with it, that's not necessary. Right, I'm going to cure that. Okay, so base coat is cured. Let's start working on the gel polish. I am going to show you something that often occurs as a problem with black, magenta, white, super pigmented colours. This is a serious black. Will need often a bit more curing time because otherwise they might not necessarily cure all the way through. So let's make a mistake with this nail. Alright. Normally, if they've been sitting in the pot or in the jar like this, I would typically try and get as much as I could off, but this is running a little low. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start again at the free edge. I never capped the free edge with colour on the first layer because otherwise I feel it can bulk up. Yeah, let's get a big amount just to sort of really cover the nail. Working on that. Pushing your way up to the cuticle. Let's put a bit more on. I mean, do you know what? I mean, as I said, this isn't, nails aren't rubbish products in any way. I mean, that's not why we're going to have an issue because, I mean, this applies to a lot of brands. So anything, like I said, that's super dense and super pigmented, that could be a problem. So what I did here, I've gone on fairly thick with the first layer of base coat, and if you're not careful, I mean, you might not even be able to sort of see how thick you put it on. It just looks like really gorgeous and shiny, but you will have a problem. Right, let's just put that in the lamp for now. Just put that to the side. In the meantime, we will be using Beetles gel polish, colour A366. These haven't got the same amount of pigments. And actually a lot of people feel that Beetles isn't pigmented enough, that you need to do 3 layers. I personally find that varies, and I know Beetles, just like any other brand, sometimes you will run into problems with them and issues with them. but nothing that sort of can't be fixed. So I'll sort of go into that in another video, how to overcome obstacles with Beetles gel polish. I mean, I've sort of got a thing for them. I only started using them a little while ago, but I really enjoy them. I mean, I feel that they go on nicely and evenly. I've just taken sort of a medium coloured gel polish, and as I was talking about, I don't know if you guys can see it, the reason I, as I said, use clear tips is that, right, let's just plonk too much on. I don't know if you can see, but see, like here, you're going to get like a stripe and you can sort of see where that's moving. If you've got one of those practice hands, which have got like those dark tips, I mean, you might be fooled a little bit because it doesn't look like it's an issue or you've got too much on, but you might. Right, that's also a 60-second cure. My black one is ready. Let's just put my lamp on. Got a nice LED lamp, nice strong one. Okay, another coat of Serious Black. Again, I'm going to do a thicker layer. I mean, I'm not going to just do it just to make it ruin it, but as I said, I want to prove a point. And the issue with this, you also, oh, let's see what that's going to look like. I can feel it sort of turning a bit tarry. This is an issue that often will happen with thumbs because people aren't always very good at getting their thumbs all the way into the lamp. See, as I said, I mean, you can see it's going on really shiny and nice. It looks gorgeous, to be quite honest. And as I said, you're sort of painting away. And on the second coat, this is where I'll sort of go in on the tip and just gently sort of cap it. But I don't do it on the first one, like I said, because otherwise you can get like a bulky free edge and we don't want that. Okay, back to the Beetles. We'll swap 60 seconds. Doesn't matter which coat you're on, just follow the manufacturers, except when you're working with highly pigmented colours, which I'm going to get back to in a second. Okay, like I said, pull a bit off the brush. I'm sorry, that's out of focus, that's annoying. That's sort of too much, so I'm going to drag a little bit off and then drag halfway on the side I'm going to be using. I want this controlled, I don't want it everywhere. And as you can see, I'm not capping the free edge every single layer and stroke I'm doing. I will wait just until the last end before I do anything. Again, this is a good sort of way of seeing that. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like, you can see that I've only polished up to here. Again, because it is a nice clear surface without any background colour interfering. Another thing I'd like to point out is normally, I mean, this, because of this for ease, I've got the lamp in my direction. Obviously, normally you wouldn't be doing it because there is a risk of anything that cures in UV or LED products that they can cure sometimes if the lamp's very near. That's how my black one's going. Okay, yeah, no, still looking nice. Got a couple of fuzzies on it. Again, the Modelons top coat. I quite like the consistency. I like the top coat. The only thing is that I might have an issue with sometimes. I can find that the lids can be a little bit, it's a bit big, and sometimes I sort of wish it was smaller. Again, I'm just checking that haven't got like a massive amount. Just going to go into with the top coat like I always would. Go in here and just sort of spread it out nice and even. But as I said, going back to the Modelons, I've seen that on Amazon they've got the same set of base and matte and shiny top, but they're different bottles. They're more similar to the Beetles cap, and I think, I mean, like appearance wise, these are nicer, but I think the other ones would be more practical. So I'm going to link the other ones that I think may well be easy to use. Right, I've put a cap on the free edge, last cure on that, which is supposed to be a 30-second cure. So let's just follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Okay, this is Beetles. I mean, personally, I wouldn't put a third top coat on that because it seems to be covered fairly well. I can't see any streaks or any bald spots. So what I'm going to do is, I think I might just as well go in the top coat on this one as well. Just start, as I said, down at the bottom. If it was an actual short nail or an overlay on a short nail, and I wouldn't necessarily start at the bottom down here, I might start just from the top and down. And that's just literally because you don't really need to. But as I say, if you've got a longer nail, I definitely would recommend that you did it. Let's cap the edge before I forget that. Okay, let's do the 30-second cure. Okie dokie. Right, my black nail. Now this is where I'm almost sure that we're going to have an issue. And no big surprise, because I think a lot of you, I mean, we've all done it at some point. It looks nice and shiny. It's a no white, by the way, but is it cured? Let's just really carefully. I mean, sometimes you can even sort of see it pooling underneath. If I press that a little bit, I can sort of, and I'm not really pushing that hard. I don't know if you can see it, but it's sort of starting to wrinkle. Yeah, and it's leaving, and this isn't the worst one I've seen, to be quite honest. But here we go. If a client sort of catches it on something, this may well start to happen. And you can see I've got like a bit of black residue on my glove now. I mean, you can't, please don't test it on the customer, obviously. Yeah, look at that. See, if a client catches that, they're going to be scraping at it and pulling at it. I mean, that's just nasty, isn't it? And I mean, I didn't really have to work that hard to even break that seal. Look, here it goes. That will cause, oh, it's just falling off, isn't it? This is something that's going to cause a complaint. People ain't going to want this, and it's not going to look nice. As I said, you can even see it's all, where it's all sort of shiny underneath. Yeah, it's just coming off now. Where it's just sort of all shiny underneath. It's just uncured gel, basically. So what I would do if I had a dark, very sort of highly pigmented gel polish, I would do thinner layers and cure it double time. So despite it saying 30 seconds, I will do a 60-second cure just to be in case. So, okay, it's better to ruin a plastic nail or plastic tip than a client's manicure. So don't use clients as guinea pigs. If you get in new colours that you don't know how well they're gonna cure, show it on a plastic tip. Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna throw it away. Otherwise, that's gonna leave a sticky mess. Now, going back to the beetles. Now, don't please do this on clients' arm. It's just me trying to make a point. Let's just try and scrape that. I mean, it's going to scratch, obviously, but as you can see, I'm sort of... Right, let's see. This is what my nails typically look like when I take the electric file and put it on. See, I mean, God, I mean, I've really got to work it, and that's got a sharp edge. I mean, it ain't... I mean, I'm ruining it, but you can see there's sort of no... There's no goo that lifts. It doesn't lift, it scratches, which is completely normal. So, yeah. Remember this when you do nails. Let's just love destroying stuff. Just give it a good spray. No, nothing's peeling, nothing's flaking. It's just ruining the surface. So, okay, conclusion. Highly pigmented colours, double cure. Be careful. Watch what you're doing. Lighter colours, just cure them like the manufacturer recommends. But if the client has, I've got one of these lights that turns on and off automatically. If they've been fidgeting backwards and forwards and you're starting to think, wow, has it fully cured? Just ask them to put their whole hand in the last cure. Just get them to do it just in case. Okay, so I hope it has been helpful to troubleshoot. And I hope you appreciated my little demonstration. So until the next time, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care for now. Bye bye.